bad, you guys. You asked for it, now you're getting it. LegalEagle is finally tackling the Roblox Schlep situation. Now your boy Schlep was going after the child predators Chris Hansen style, but then Roblox banned him. What? The state of Louisiana is suing Roblox. What? Also, millions of kids are being exploited on the Roblox platform as cheap or free child labor using a centuries-old racket of company scrip. There's a lot of legal nuance in this story, so listen up. Are we horizontal now? That's harder than it looks. Roblox is a billion-dollar online playground and creative sandbox with about 400 million active monthly users. About 40% of those users are under the age of 13. The YouTuber Schlep earned a following in the millions by pretending to be a little kid and honey-trapping child predators in the game, and then exposing them on his channel to catch a predator style. He even uses images of Chris Hansen to confront his targets. But instead of celebrating Schlep's vigilantism, the Roblox Corporation banned him from the platform, leading to widespread internet outrage.
Avengers!
California Congressman Ro Khanna put out a petition to force Roblox to do better by children on the site. And the state of Louisiana promptly sued Roblox, claiming that its claims to protect kids on the site amount to consumer fraud. So what is going on here? And are we maybe missing a broader point about legal online child exploitation? Let's start by talking about the Schlep situation. But first, okay, I'm not gonna sit here in front of God and the internet and pretend that I know a lot about online gaming. But I do know that there are some very specific laws governing how websites have to protect underage users. So at the risk of becoming a Hello Fellow Kids meme, let's talk about Roblox. It was created in 2004 by developers David Baszucki and Eric Cassell, released to the public in 2006, and now has over 100 million daily users. Roblox is an online platform that allows users to create immersive gaming experiences inside the Roblox metaverse and then play around in them with other users they can talk to directly. It's kind of like Minecraft, but with Lego avatars and Technicolor graphics and millions of ways to spend money. The majority of Roblox's users are children under 16, and it takes just seconds for a child to sign up. You don't even need to give Roblox your email to create an account, although you do have to submit proof of age to access some of the age-gated experiences on the site geared toward older users.
All right, this just showed up a few minutes ago. Exclusive for ages 17 plus games category. This shows up even before the popular page.
That's partly because, unlike a lot of free social media platforms, Roblox claims its primary monetization model is not hoovering up your personal data and selling it, although it does share that data with advertisers, which is totally different. Instead, Roblox's revenue relies on millions of microtransactions involving its internal currency, Robux. Users can buy Robux and spend them inside the game's ecosystem to purchase access to content made by independent developers, like digital clothing or cosmetics, or even full-blown premium games. Roblox was wildly popular before COVID, and after kids spent 2 years in their houses clutching their iPads as their parents tried desperately to get work done, it became ubiquitous. Chances are, if there's a kid in your life, 10 or under, what they want for Christmas is Robux. But all that is taking place in this space where there's almost no existing legal regulation at all. So it's probably inevitable that this would happen.
What is going on here?
There's a lot of sketchy people out there on the internet that you probably don't want knowing your home address, phone number, or the real names of anybody in your family who plays Roblox. And it's not surprising because data brokers vacuum up your personal data from all corners of the internet and sell it to anyone who wants to buy it. But you can fight back and take control of your personal data by signing up for today's sponsor, Incogni. Incogni removes your personal data from online data brokers by searching the internet, reaching out directly on your behalf, and forcing those brokers to take your personal info down. If the brokers resist, Incogni will take care of that too, because Incogni fights back. Those data brokers are the reason why in the US you can search your name and find a bunch of websites that will give anyone your home address, phone number, and extensive history. It's shocking how easy it is to find all this information. It also might be why you're getting so many spam calls lately or even had your identity stolen. I've been using Incogni for years. In that time, you can see I've been on hundreds of lists, some of which had a high sensitivity score, meaning the broker had tons of data on me. Luckily, Incogni completed hundreds of takedowns for me over the years. I could never do this myself, so thank you to Incogni for weeks of work and adding me to over 40 suppression lists. And Incogni will continue to conduct ongoing removals because Even if the broker removes your data once, they can collect it and publish it again. So if online privacy is important to you, give Incogni a try. If you click on the link on screen or down below, you can try Incogni risk-free for 30 days with a 60% off discount and get a full refund if you're not into it. And if you keep it, you'll still get the exclusive 60% discount so long as you use our link or the code LegalEagle, all one word. So sign up for Incogni or we will see you in court. Roblox's users have long complained that the site does not adequately protect children from various abusive behaviors. Some of that is relatively minor. The site bans profanity, drugs, and the use of slurs through automated filtering and moderation. The trouble starts when Roblox players leave the site and interact via social platforms that Roblox has no control over, like Discord and Reddit. There are Discord servers and subreddits that connect players to condos on Roblox where avatars will hang out, shouting profanity, vaping, simulating sex, or whatever until the Roblox mods find it and shut it down. The website Fast Company describes digital gyrations, which are ridiculous if impossible to unsee. Thong-clad Roblox avatars twerking on stripper poles, beefy blonde avatars buck naked except for COVID masks, and enough crudely animated contortions to fill several volumes of the Kama Sutra should LEGO ever decide to publish an edition. The article by reporter Bert Helm tells the story of a 16-year-old he calls Hey, who struggled for 3 years, nearly his entire prepubescent life, to make a hit game on the Roblox platform, but never managed to stand out from the tens of thousands of new games that are uploaded to Roblox every day. There's that uncompensated underage labor again. So Kay shelled out 1,000 Robux on Discord for the complete code for a condo game, which would allow Kay to replicate it with a few tweaks each time Roblox's content moderators shut it down. He fired up a Discord server and a VPN, made a bunch of burner accounts, and loaded round after round of an illicit condo selling nearly 3,000 Robux, which he spent entirely on Roblox items. After a week, Roblox's servers identified his computer and hardware blocked him. Another 13-year-old was better at masking his identity and set up a thriving business creating similar naughty hangouts and hawking swag. He claims to have netted $150,000 a month in Robux, or roughly $500, depending on whether that included Roblox's 30% haircut. I mean, that's a lot of work for a relatively meager payoff. And while you wouldn't want your first grader wandering into such a condo accidentally, it's hardly child endangerment. If anything, it's more like the old Chuck E. Cheese where you'd spend hours and hours playing arcade games in front of weird gyrating animatronic figures to win tickets that you could eventually exchange for useless crap. And just like the underground Roblox condos, you could even smoke at Chuck E. Cheese. R.I.P. in peace to everyone's favorite rat from Coney Island. But Roblox's critics say the problem isn't confined to kids doing normal kid stuff and trying to squeeze a couple bucks out of it. The site's moderators left games like Escape from Epstein Island up for weeks despite the obvious reference to the notorious pedophile. And those critics claim that the platform is rife with sexual predators who seek out young children and entice them to other sites like Discord or Snapchat, or solicit child sex abuse material from children and pay them in Robux. They say that the platform doesn't do nearly enough to protect users from this predation. And there's at least some anecdotal evidence that that's true. Last year, Bloomberg Businessweek reporters Olivia Carville and Cecilia D'Anastasio published an article called Roblox's Pedophile Problem that told the story of a guy who went by the name Dr. Robotnik on the platform and ran a popular experience called Sonic Eclipse based on Sega's Sonic the Hedgehog character. Robotnik hired young kids to manage administrative and design tasks for him, paying them in Robux. Oh, hi again, child labor enriching a giant multinational corporation. Robotnik was also sending wildly inappropriate messages to children, often misspelling words or adding spaces to evade censors. Robotnik was outed by a YouTuber named Ben Simon who goes by the name Ruben Sim. Sim has his own complicated history with Roblox, but let's come back to that in a second. In 2020, Roblox banned Robotnik and referred the case to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, better known as NCMEC. Under the Report Act, websites have a legal obligation to report the presence of child sex abuse material or potential sexual exploitation of children to NCMEC. And by the way, while pornography is protected speech by consenting adults, children cannot consent to sex, which is why we will be using the appropriate term child sex abuse material, or CSAM, here. The law requires companies which discover CSAM on their servers to report it to NCMEC, which Roblox did, but it didn't ban the Sonic Eclipse game, which Robotnik just transferred to another user. Almost immediately, the Robotnik character made a new account and carried on as before. It was only in 2021, when Sega filed a copyright infringement suit against Roblox, that they shut the game down. Now, Roblox maintains that it's an industry leader in keeping kids safe on its platform. Its CEO David Baszucki told WBOR in Boston that Roblox is the safest place for anyone on the internet. But content moderation is hard, especially when you're doing it at scale. And Roblox's management team has also said at a development conference last year that it intends to grow the platform to 1 billion active daily users and 10% of all global gaming revenue. How does Roblox intend to achieve astronomical growth and still maintain user safety? Oh, you know the answer to that one. They're going to do it with AI. But don't worry, Mom and Dad, because ChatGPT is on the case, and coincidentally, AI is a lot cheaper than hiring thousands of human moderators because you gotta protect that shareholder value, right? Now, back in 2022, 1 year after the site booted Rofatnik's original account, a 15-year-old girl in Indiana went missing. 8 days later, she was found in a filthy apartment in New Jersey, lured there by Rofatnik, who was actually a 22-year-old man named Arnold Castillo. Investigators discovered hundreds of messages between Castillo and the child, including her saying that she wanted to run away from home. There were images of their two avatars holding hands and wearing shirts that said boyfriend and girlfriend. In September of 2022, Castillo was indicted for transportation of a minor across state lines for sexual activity, and in May of 2023, he pled guilty and was sentenced to 15 years in jail. Roblox said the incident caused it to massively beef up its moderation teams and revamp its safety protocols, but the Castillo case is definitely not a one-off. In 2020, a 48-year-old Kansas man named Clinton McElroy, who was already a registered sex offender, paid an 8-year-old boy thousands of Robux to produce CSAM. McElroy is now serving a 40-year prison sentence in Florida. In fact, dozens of men have been arrested for using Roblox to approach young children for sex or sexual imagery, and at least 6 of those men were apprehended thanks to a YouTuber named Schlep. Schlep is a YouTuber who claims that as a child he was groomed for sexual exploitation on Roblox. As an adult, he produced multiple videos that feature avatars claiming to be young children engaging with predators online. The interactions moved to different sites such as Instagram, Discord, and Snapchat, and eventually the predators agreed to meet up in real life, resulting in sting videos that Schlep posts online for his 1.4 million followers. But on August 9th, Schlep tweeted that he'd been banned from Roblox. He posted a cease and desist letter he says was sent by the company, claiming that he violated its terms of service by engaging in simulated child endangerment conversations, sharing or soliciting personally identifiable information, and directing users to move conversations off platform. The letter accused Schlep of failing to immediately report suspicious activity to Roblox through proper channels, actively interfering with Roblox's established safety protocols, and exposing Roblox's users to increased risk. It threatened to sue him for breach of contract and violating the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act if he ever accessed the platform again. The CFAA is primarily a criminal statute, but it does allow for civil lawsuits against people who access computer networks without permission. On the company's site, Roblox's chief safety officer, Matt Kaufman, explained the decision to boot vigilantes off the platform. He says it's because they were impersonating children and actively seeking to connect with adult users. Those conversations mimicked inappropriate behavior and actively encouraged other users to connect on social media and messaging platforms, thus bypassing Roblox's own safety systems. Basically, they say that vigilantes like Schlep normalize this banned behavior by wandering around the website, engaging in it. And before you ask, no, that's not entrapment. Entrapment is when the government induces you to commit a crime, not some hyper-caffeinated keyboard warrior. Roblox also says that it violates the site's terms of service to not report predatory behavior immediately, which is not what's happening when you're filming your interactions so you can mine them later for clicks. Although the vigilantes would say that they do report the behavior and Roblox doesn't do anything about it. After the ban, Schlep raced to make more viral content. He's now partnering with Chris Hansen, the former NBC Dateline reporter who hosted the long-running series To Catch a Predator, which filmed real-life vigilante sting operations, but for a national audience. Chris Hansen is stoked to shut up and play the hits.
Stay tuned. We're working hard on this project.
And Schlep also hired lawyers, affiliating himself with 2 plaintiffs' class action firms, which together represent more than 400 individuals suing Roblox for harms they allege they suffered as minors approached on the website. Here's a recent case filed in Texas. It's clear that the lawyers are now circling the company looking for plaintiffs to sue Roblox based on various legal theories, including negligence, consumer fraud, and product liability. We also found this complaint Roblox filed against YouTube creator Ruben Sim for, among other things, posting false and misleading terrorist threats to discourage Roblox users from participating in in-person and online events, cyberbullying and harassing Roblox employees, accessing the platform after he'd been banned, and attempting to upload a nude image of himself with only a lampshade covering his genitals. It appears that that case was settled in 2022 when Sim agreed to pay Roblox $150,000 and stay off the platform. And I guess now is as good a time as any to state the obvious that child predators are bad people and companies should definitely keep kids safe online. And if you don't understand that, a law channel is not going to help you. But there are a whole lot of legal issues that go beyond the question of who is the bad guy here. So let's see if we can't break some of those down. Starting with the banning of Schlep. Yes, the short answer is yes. Can platforms ban you? Yes. Can they do it for violating their terms of service? Yes. Can they do it for no reason at all? Yes. Do they have to apply their own rules consistently? No. And do you have any recourse if they don't? No. And the reason for that is Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, affectionately known to its fans as the 26 words that created the internet. Under Section 230, no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. So if you post something obscene or defamatory on Reddit or Yelp or Facebook or Roblox, the companies that own those interactive online platforms cannot be held liable for what you said. That shield for third-party content is what makes social media and online interactive media possible. You couldn't have a functioning internet if platforms could be held liable for what users posted online. And then, you see where it says civil liability? No provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be held liable on account of any action voluntarily taken in good faith to restrict access to or availability of material that the provider or user considers to be obscene, lewd, lascivious, filthy, excessively violent, harassing, or otherwise objectionable, whether or not such material is constitutionally protected. So in plain English, a provider can boot you for any reason at all without civil liability. So yes, it may feel manifestly unfair or wrong or unjust, but that is the law of the land, and suing Roblox for unevenly enforcing its terms of service is not going to change that. Okay, so what duty do websites owe to child users? That is a harder question to nail down, and the answer varies across states. Obviously, websites have a legal duty to report CSAM to NCMEC, which Roblox does. It also has to abide by the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, or COPPA. But COPPA is a data privacy law that governs how websites can store and collect data on users under 13. And Roblox doesn't collect that data at all, so that's not relevant here. And that leaves basic theories of tort law, like the ones all those lawyers are relying on, along with various other state statutes. Here's one that says the website violated California's consumer protection laws by claiming that it was safe when it is not. Here's one from Texas that says the company was negligent about child safety and committed fraud when it told parents the app was safe for kids. Here's one in Pennsylvania alleging product liability and breach of Pennsylvania's consumer protection statute. The issue here is that Roblox is going to assert Section 230 liability for user-generated content, which is why so many of these lawsuits focus on the fraud aspect, basically claiming that Roblox misrepresented itself when it had state-of-the-art technology to keep kids safe. And that's the basis of Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrell's lawsuit against Roblox, which was filed on August 14th. She's alleging violations of Louisiana's Unfair Trade Practices Act, or LUTPA, along with negligence and nuisance. And I'm not saying that this lawsuit is doomed, but I am saying that it includes the most brain-meltingly terrible passage about COPPA ever put in print. She says, defendant could have also required children under 13 to provide their names and email addresses and obtain parental approval, a fundamental protection against predators, but refused to do so. This decision allowed the company to bypass certain protections that are mandated by federal law and designed to protect children. COPPA was enacted because Congress recognized the heightened vulnerability of children on the internet. As the Federal Trade Commission noted, the limited capacity of children to understand fully the potentially serious safety and privacy implications of sharing their personal information. COPPA bars companies from collecting and storing information about very young children, and I'm not here to stick up for Roblox, but the company didn't bypass COPPA. It complied with COPPA. It did not collect information from young children at all. But you know what jumped out at us when we dug into this case? Wasn't the content moderation problem, bad as it may be? Because some percentage of those hundreds of tort cases are going to get in front of a jury, which will probably do more than any petition to encourage Roblox to fix its content moderation problem. There's one or two $10 or $100 million jury verdicts can do wonders to clarify the mind. What struck us is that Roblox is basically an $80 billion company town paying its employees in company scrip. The vast majority of the game's content is lovingly created by its players and placed behind a paywall. Roblox encourages users to become developers and create new content for the company by offering to share the profits. But Roblox Corporation pays those third-party developers in Robux. And Roblox prints that currency and can set whatever exchange rate it wants. And that exchange rate kind of sucks. Okay, let's do some back-of-the-napkin math here. If you are buying Robux, they cost roughly a penny each. Sometimes you can get them for less if you buy in bulk, sometimes they cost more. But if you're a parent buying them for your kid, you're basically talking like $10 for 1,000 Robux. Now, if your kid spends that 1,000 Robux in a developer's game or experience, as Roblox calls them, Roblox takes a 30% cut off the top. The developer gets 700 Robux, but you can't spend Robux at the grocery store. You have to turn it into cash money. And while Roblox is perfectly willing to sell its in-game script for a penny, it's not offering that same deal on the back end. It will buy Robux from devs for 0.35 cents each, so like a third of the penny. And that's after the 30% commission it took on the original sale. So by my reckoning, of the original $10 forked over by mom and dad, the developer is getting $2.45. And if you're playing along with your calculator at home, that's only 24% of the original transaction. And developers are probably getting even less than that since the Roblox platform has all kinds of upload fees and bank transfer fees and variable rates for players when they purchase Robux, and the point of sale cut in Robux isn't always 70-30 either. CEO David Baszucki makes a lot of fuss about how empowering this is for creators, particularly teenagers, and that's true. There are lots of very young creators on the site getting paid, and they're clearly willing to take what Roblox is offering, particularly since Roblox Studio provides so much back-end technical and creative support. It's also a pretty easy game engine to learn, so the barrier for entry is really low. But when Roblox brags about paying out $923 million to creators in 2024, remember that the company took in $3.6 billion during that time. And there are plenty of creators who made basically nothing. And while there are many adult professional developers on the platform, this is still an ecosystem that grew itself based on the labor of lots of very young people who cannot go out and get jobs in Silicon Valley and have no contractual relationship with the company and no real bargaining power. And these people are creating digital products for even younger consumers. So yeah, there's a problem when you have children who can't earn money running around a digital playground where all the fun stuff requires game tokens. That's clearly going to create a situation where adults who can earn money will prey on them. But that's hardly the only problem when you're talking about a multinational billion-dollar company that's paying those same children in Robux that they sell for a penny and redeem for a peanut.
Now, all this highlights why it's so important to get a great lawyer when you're dealing with your own case. Now, after I started this channel, every week I'd get hundreds of comments and emails from viewers who are dealing with legal problems. And they'd ask, can you help me find a lawyer? How do I know if this attorney is any good? And there's a massive gap in our justice system. It's that people don't know how to find the right lawyer for their specific situation. They're scared, they're overwhelmed, and they end up doing nothing or hiring the first attorney who calls them back. And that really bothered me. So I started to wonder, what if there was a different way? What if we could build a law firm that actually lived up to the values that I talk about on this channel: transparency, accessibility, and putting clients first instead of chasing billable hours. A firm where you don't need to pay anything up front and your lawyers only get paid if you do, to maximize your opportunity for justice. So a few years ago, I decided to fix that problem. I decided to start my own personal injury law firm. And honestly, it wasn't an easy choice. But I realized I was in this unique position. I had this platform, this community, and the experience. Not to get rich, trust me, there are easier ways to make money than starting a law practice. But we did it because access to justice shouldn't be a luxury. Because finding the right legal representation shouldn't feel like playing Russian roulette with your future. And when you work with my firm, you're not just getting a lawyer. You're getting a team that understands that behind every case is a real person with real stakes. If we can't represent you, or you're in a state where we don't practice, we'll take the time to try to match you with an attorney in my personal network of lawyers. A national network of some of the best lawyers in the country who actually specialize in what you're going through, located right where you are, not just whoever happens to be available. So if you're dealing with a personal injury, a car crash, a data breach, sexual harassment, a social security or workers' comp issue, give us a call at the number on screen or click on the link below. Now, I can't represent everyone that watches this channel. I wish I could, but what I can do is make sure that when you need legal help, you have somewhere to turn to that you can trust. So whether it's me handling your case or the incredible attorneys we partnered with, you'll get the same principles of honesty and education that we bring to every video. And if you're dealing with a legal issue and you're not sure where to start, check out the link in the description. Let's have a conversation about how we can help you find not just a lawyer, but the right lawyer for your situation. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about, making sure that when life gets complicated, you don't have to face it alone. Which is why when you need a lawyer, you don't just need a legal team, you need the Eagle team.